das selbst gelöscht. Das war falsch eingestellt von mir. Ah, so. Ja, New WhatsApp Settings. Ich hätte es mir aufschreiben sollen, aber ja.
Pichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayaratha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayaratha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayaratha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayaratha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pariraj Gajarya Sutta Sutta Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Nanta Koti Vaishnavavrinda Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. Glorious to the assembled devotees. Glorious to the assembled devotees. All glorious to the assembled devotees. Glorious to Shri Guru Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Udiraye Nashta Praeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhagati Naishtike. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text 46. Bhasmasad kriyamanam, Bhasmasad kriyamanam stan.
Bhasmasad kriyamanam stan.
Bhasmasad kriyamanam stan.
Bhasmasad kriyamanam stan.
Druman vikshya pitambaha.
Druman vikshya pitamaha.
Druman vikshya pitamaha. Agata shamayam asa. Agata shamayam asa. Putran barishmato nai. Putran parishmato nai. Bhasmasad kriyamanam Bhasmasad kriyamanam mastan. Druman vikshya pitama. Agata shamayam asa. Putran barishmato nai.
Bhasmasad kriyamanam stan.
Bhasmasad kriyamanam stan.
Druman vikshya pitamaha.
Druman Viksha Pitamaha
Agata Shamayamasa
Agatam Shamayam Asa
Putran Barishmato Nai
Putram Barishmatonai
Pasmasat
Pasmasat
Kriyamanam Stan
Kriyamanam Stan
Druman
Druman Vikshya Pitambaha Agata Shamayam Asa Putran Barishmatonai. Vaishnavis? That's right. Okay. Pasmasat into ashes. Kriyamanam being made. Tan all of them. Druman the trees. Vikshya seeing. Pitamaha Lord Brahma. Agataha came there. Shamayam Asa pacified. Putran the sons. Parishmataha of King Barishman. Nai by logic. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. After seeing that all the trees on the surface of the earth were being turned to ashes, Lord Brahma immediately came to the sons of King Barishman and pacified them with words of logic. Purport. Whenever there is some uncommon occurrence on any planet, Lord Brahma, being in charge of the whole universe, immediately comes to control the situation. Lord Brahma also came when Hiranyakashipu underwent severe penances and austerities and made the whole universe tremble. A responsible man in any establishment is always alert to keep peace and harmony within the establishment. Similarly, Lord Brahma is also allowed to keep peace and harmony within this universe. He consequently pacified the sons of King Barishman with good logic. Om Jnanati Marandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Mina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So now we are towards the end of this chapter, and after the Prachetas performed 10,000 years of penances, after the darshan of Lord Vishnu, they came out of the waters, and what did they saw? There was a jungle. The whole universe, the whole planet was a jungle. For 10,000 years, nobody was kind of taking care properly, and as a result of that, they became angry. In some way, it's surprising that after so many years of pasya and seeing the Lord, and and then they still had anger. Anyhow, as I guess the topic of anger was discussed yesterday. But yeah, they were angry, and they burned down all the trees, turned them into ashes, and that created, that also created some trouble, because there's supposed to be some trees on the planet. So then here is described how Lord Brahma immediately came to the son of King Barishmans and pacified them with the words of logic. And what was the? I mean, this is basically conflict resolution here. What's going on? We have in ISKCON, we have Braj Vihari Prabhu and Brahmatirtha Prabhu. They are our ISKCON resolve men. Whenever there is a conflict, then they come in and they try to kind of solve the situation. So here, what is the conflict here between the Prachetas and the trees? Or and then Prabhupada explains in the next shloka that there's the deities of the trees, like the deities of water, deities of trees, so there's also personality behind. So there's a conflict between Prachetas and the trees. And what is Brahma's way to handle the situation? he this will be described in the next shloka. He advises the personification of the trees to offer his or their daughter Maricha to marry the Prachetas, and then like, now they're enemies, but if they marry the daughter, then they become family members, and then there's peace. So that's the tactic here. That's how Lord Brahma solves the issue, which is quite interesting. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that whenever there is some uncommon occurrence, Lord Brahma, who is in charge, he immediately comes and tries to solve the situation. So in today's class, I'd just like to speak about some other examples how Lord Brahma did some conflict resolution. And then maybe we can also look a bit on, and there's nice prayers by Lord Brahma where he prays for empowerment for his service, because he has a very responsible service. As is described here, he's in charge of the whole universe. I mean, there's many different planets, and usually on every planet you have some ruler, or then you have different countries, you have rulers. But there is one person who is responsible for the whole entire universe in which we are, and that's Lord Brahma. It's quite a powerful position. Yes, so can you think of any other examples where Lord Brahma had to step in? Prabhupada mentioned Hiranyakashipu, he did penances, and by this also caused some trouble, and then Brahma came and gave him benediction. Of course, this benediction also caused further troubles, and then Vishnu had to step in, which is usually what happens. If Brahma or Shiva give benedictions, and if the benedictions are not so well thought about, then usually Vishnu has to come and step in. But any other? Can you think of any other situation where Brahma had to comment? In this Canto 4, we were just studying it a couple of months ago. There is one other story which I like to mention a bit, is Prithu and Indra. Do you remember? Prithu Maharaj, this is some chapters back. This was 19th chapter. Yes, Prithu, of course, Prithu Maharaj being an Shakti avatar, or an incarnation of the Lord, he wanted to establish himself as the king of the earth, the planet, and then so he wants to perform 100 sacrifices, horse sacrifices, which is this is kind of the Ashvamedha Yagya. That's kind of the usual way to do it, to establish oneself as a king, like an emperor who kind of rules everything. But then, of course, Indra couldn't tolerate the great sacrifice of King Prithu, because he was worried that Prithu becomes more glorious than him, because he had done previously, and he is the king of heaven. So he was a bit worried about it, like in many other situations. And then what does Indra do? Because by that time Indra already performed. Prithu performs 99 sacrifices, and then there is only one horse left to sacrifice. I mean, that's a whole other story about these horse sacrifices. Of course, we could also be misunderstood, but we know in these Vedic times when they actually would offer animals in sacrifice, these animals actually would get new life. The Prabhupada explains, I mean, for me it's still kind of difficult to understand what's going on there, but Prabhupada explains that the priests, they were testing the power of their mantras. And then by the power of their mantras, they could, sacrifice an animal, but then the animal get new life, or sometimes even human form or something. So there was no harm, okay? But in any case, there was one last sacrifice open, and Indra goes there and steals the sacrifice. And the special thing in this situation, he dresses himself as a sannyasi. and it works for his benefit in a sense, because he steals the horse, and then one of Prithu's sons chases behind, and then is ready to shoot an arrow on Indra because he's a thief and he has stolen the horse. But then he sees he wears an sannyas dress. How can I kill a sannyasi? I can't kill a sannyasi. So he kind of is not killing Indra. And then Indra leaves the horse behind and runs away. So, and then the thing repeats itself. Then they again tried, and the Indra again comes in the disguise of a sannyasi, and again steals the horse, and again the son of Prithu tries to kill Indra, and again he doesn't do, because after all he has a sannyasi dress. How can I kill him? And then I think Prithu himself is ready to kill, but then the priest says, no, we will do it by the power of our mantras. We will, call Indra and pull him into the fire of sacrifice. And at that point, then Lord Brahma comes in and steps in. Wait a minute, you can't kill Indra. That's not proper. No. And he explains that. Let me see. So Lord Brahma, he tells to the priest, you should not kill Indra, because he's a part of the Lord's body. He's like, Indra is kind of, like all the devas, they are kind of ministers, and they are acting on behalf of the Lord. So how can you kill Indra? And also the yajna is meant to satisfy Vishnu, but also to satisfy the devas. And Indra is the head of the devas. So how can you kill that person you're meant to satisfy with a sacrifice? So that's not proper. And then he tells basically to Maharaj Prithu, let there be 99 sacrifices. It will be okay. Let it be 99. And he tells him, by my blessings, because of my blessings, your 99 sacrifices will be more glorious than the 100 of Indra. Just by my blessings. So you be satisfied with the 99. And you should not be angry on Indra, because, and Vishnu Chandra Thakur says, you should not show anger because he is non-different from you, since you're both avatars of the Lord. Like Prithu Maharaj is like an avatar of the Lord, and Indra also. So you're like, you're equals, So how you should not be angry. Like if you bite yourself with your teeth on the tongue, do you become angry with your teeth? Like, your teeth, why did you no, it's like you bite yourself. So it's kind of, so in this way, that's how it's described here. In a sense that he is, like the devas are like arms, instruments of the Lord, and Indra is the head of the devas. He's the king of the devas in that sense. Indra power is like the universal form, the hands of the Lord, like that. And then also he says, this is actually, you should accept the supreme will. This is like the providential arrangement. And then Vishnu Chandra Thakur gives a very interesting comment. He says, so he speaks to Prithu, who is meditating on the incomplete sacrifice, because of course Prithu Maharaj was very attached to complete the 100 sacrifice. And I'm sure you also must have been in a situation where you're very passionate about something, and you really want to complete it, you want to finish it, and then something happened. Why it doesn't work? I want to complete it, I want to finish it. You all have this situation, no? And you become very passionate about it. I want to complete it. Huh? Monopoly. Yeah, or on book distribution, like today I will distribute 50 books and you have 49 books. There's only one book left. It's already evening, but you want to push it through. Or I don't know, a workshop, you have to repair something and time is up, but you really want to finish it. And it's getting late, but still you want to finish it. So here, Prithu Maharaj, he's very, he's ambitious. He wants to establish himself as a king, and he did already 99 sacrifices. This is the last one, just one more. Naturally, he's attached. He wants to complete it. But here, Lord Brahma says, just accept the supreme will. No, there is a higher power, and this is like providential arrangement. So you should not be. Just accept it and just detach yourself. And that's actually very, very difficult if you think about it. To just let go something you were so passionate about and so determined, and then just let it go. It's actually very difficult. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, certainly the mind of the person who meditates on doing what is destroyed by fate enters into the deepest illusion. He does not attain peace. So if a person, if something is destroyed by fate, basically it's not meant to happen. And it's very obvious, kind of Krishna doesn't allow it. Because at the end of the day, Krishna is the observer and the permission giver. And if Krishna doesn't give permission, it's just not meant to be. And then we should learn to accept and not go against it. Because if you go against it, then as described here, he enters into deepest illusion and he will never attain peace. You just become mad because you're not getting what you want. So you have to learn to detach yourself. And there is a saying, we should have goals of stone and plans of sand. Goals of stone and plans of sands. So we have a clear goal. I want to attain Krishna. I want to please my Guru. This is written in stone. There is nothing will stop me to do this. I will certainly make sure that I will attain Krishna Prema in this lifetime. Go back home, back to Godhead. I want to please my spiritual master. I do everything. Fulfill all the instruction given by my Guru. That's kind of fixed, written in stone. But then, how to achieve this? That should be the plans. How to do it should be written in sand. Because I do it this way, or maybe it goes in the other way. I thought it will be like this, but now it goes like in the other direction. So then we have to be kind of be a little bit flexible. And that's because too much endeavor. In the Garuda Purana there is a statement that if someone is too much attached and performs too much endeavor to attain something he really wants, in the next life becomes a donkey carrying heavy load. Garuda Purana says, if one is too stubborn about his own plans. And I guess the point is there's a difference between just accepting something or to really embracing something, like a situation. Okay, yes, I accept it. But inside you still kind of feel like, you're really unsatisfied. But to really accept something, like to have non-resistance, then you really embrace something and say, okay, this is Krishna's will, I accept it, and that's how it is. And then you're at peace with yourself and the situation. But that's not so easy because usually we are attached to the way we want to do it because we feel we are the supreme controller and enjoyer.
So, if I put my alarm in the morning because I want to wake up when I'm relaxed.
Yes.
And then my body is saying, let's sleep. And then we fall asleep again. And then, should you just embrace your pillow?
Prabhu, we're speaking here. That's just your illusion. that's just your mind. No. But we speak here of something which has been destroyed by fate.
Yeah, how do you know if it's destroyed by fate?
Well, if in the morning you want to sleep longer, then it's not destroyed by fate. It's destroyed by your mind. and by your tamaguna. But
It's an external.
we're speaking something you want to achieve, something you want to do, and then it's just, it doesn't happen. It's just not. Then it's destroyed by fate, and then we have to learn to accept it. I mean, of course, it's a little tricky. We have to understand the science. How much do we have to endeavor and to push our way, and at what point do we have to let go and then just accept destiny and understand this is Krishna's will? It's not always so easy. But and here in this case, Lord Brahma steps in. Lord Brahma comes and says, "So stop, be satisfied with 99 sacrifice, just accept it." So that's kind of, then you understand. Okay, wait a minute. Here, Brahma comes, so that this must be Krishna's will, and then he has to kind of detach himself.
Does this apply for devotees also? Like in devotional service, because then you can say, fate is, how much is fate still valid for devotees?
I mean, of course it's valid for devotees. Indra is a devotee, Prithu is a devotee, Brahma is a devotee. We are devotees. and how much fate is, of course fate applies very much. We say this, if you become a devotee, then you're not affected anymore by your karma and destiny. Well, wait a minute. It means if you're 100% surrendered your life to Krishna, then maybe everything will be, lifted. But in principle, we are very much influenced by our destiny and our fate, our karma, very much, because we are still conditioned souls. And everything goes according to our, that destiny, previous karma. Yes, if you take initiation, then Guru and Krishna, they take our karma and use it in a way that we get purified. That's there, so it's not anymore just like an old mechanical karma, a law, which is there with other people, but it becomes kind of personally directed by Krishna and Guru. They kind of make arrangements, but still they use what is there. Like they use the existing karma from previous lives, and then they just use it. So that's there.
So could you say that fate is karma and Krishna's will? Both of them are fate.
It's most probably a combination, yeah. So in this way, this is one example how Lord Brahma steps in and preaches to Prithu, basically Prithu Maharaj, that he should accept. And he brings certain arguments. He says, listen, because if you don't, he says, we should avoid spreading this irreligion. Stop this sacrifice, for it induced stubborn Indra to introduce so many irreligious aspects. That's also interesting, because here Brahma can see there is two devotees, they're fighting with each other, but one is actually more advanced, more elevated than the other. And then Brahma tells Prithu, you should be, should be a little bit more mature, because Indra he's just stubborn. He will just continue. He will continue to. You see what he's doing. He actually introduces irreligion, because by his behavior, other people will follow, and this is what happened. Like so-called, people that just taking orange dress, saffron clothes of a sannyasi, and then they do all kind of nonsense. That was introduced by Indra, and people follow him. So, and that's why Brahma says, if you don't stop your sacrifices, Indra will do it again and again and again, and it will become worse. So you should stop the sacrifice so that Indra is not doing nonsense. And then again he tells him that and have faith in me, by my blessings your so-called incomplete yajna will become complete. And there is some nice examples how sometimes something which looks like incomplete. We wanted to do something, we want to do it for a certain period, or we want to do it in a certain way, and then by fate it stopped or interfered and we can't complete it the way we want. But then again, we can understand, although it seemed to be incomplete, actually it's complete. One example I can think of is Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath's form. It looks like incomplete, right? What if there is no hands, there is no feet? The King Indradyumna was also shocked. Oh my God! Now I spoiled it. No, the carpenter run away, and the deities are not complete. But actually, it was perfect. That's how the Lord wanted to be manifested. So that which looked incomplete actually is perfect, complete. And there is another interesting example. When Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur wrote his commentary to the Bhagavad Gita, after the shloka of the 18th chapter, text 73, he wrote commentaries, but that commentary was eaten by a mouse. Like some palm leaves writing and so, and then he wrote commentary, and it was eaten by a mouse. And then you know what Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur does? He just writes at the end he just completes the commentary on Gita and makes a last comment. The commentary on the last 5 verses, which brings out the purport of the whole Gita, was written on 2 pages, which have been taken away by the carrier of Ganesha, a rat. I have not bothered to write them again. They were trifling matter. Let that be. Thus the commentaries of Bhagavad Gita called Sharat Varshini have been completed. Haribol. So that's an interesting example of someone who kind of, okay, there must be some.
Prabhupada's manuscript.
He did it again. Anyway, but this is an example of, which looks incomplete became complete because it was okay. Alright, so that's one other story how Lord Brahma stepped in, and of course there are many other situations where Brahma had to step in because he is the Lord of the universe. But when we look in the Bhagavatam, in the third canto of the Bhagavatam, in the 9th chapter, we find beautiful description of the prayers of Lord Brahma, and from there we can see that Lord Brahma is, at least in our case, in our universe, is a devotee. Usually it's a devotee, but sometimes not so much, or sometimes the Lord himself has to take the role. But if we see here that we know the situation. Brahma was born, and then he found himself in darkness. He didn't know what happened. Couldn't understand the origin. And then they heard the words tapa. He started to meditate and take tapasya. Then the Lord revealed himself. There's a beautiful description on when Lord Brahma could see the gigantic lotus-like white bedstead on the body where he saw then. He saw where he came from, and then he saw Sheshanaga and Mahavishnu lying on Anantashesh. And then he offers prayers. And I personally found them very fascinating because it shows qualities of a leader. And that's the topic here basically. Because Brahma is a leader of the universe, so he has to step in and make sure that there is harmony and peace. And that's what a leader has to do, like temple president, GBC. They have to, whenever there is some challenge between devotees, then they have to step in and kind of solve the situation, because they are the leaders. And the prayers, they show beautiful leadership qualities. So Lord Brahma prays, let the Supreme Lord be merciful towards me. He is the one friend and soul of all living entities in the world. Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhara Shishibani. Thank you. So he is the one friend and soul of all living entities in the world, and he maintains all for their ultimate happiness by his 6 transcendental opulences. May he be merciful towards me, so that I, as before, may be empowered with introspection to create, for I am also one of the surrendered souls who are dear to the Lord. So basically here Lord Brahma asks for empowerment. Right? Please, dear Lord, please empower me. Because I'm meant to, I have a huge task in front of me. I'm meant to create the universe, all the planets, all the living entities. That's like huge work. So how can I do that? Please empower me. That's and that of course shows the humility of Lord Brahma, that he understands on my own, I'm not able to do it. And even in the world today, in the leadership world, they actually recognize that humility is a very important quality of a leader, even in the corporate world. Any idea why? What makes? How can humility be a good leadership quality?
The leader has to empower other people.
Okay, yes, he has to empower others. That means he's not so very egocentric just about him, but he's also sharing the power with others. Yes.
Because it takes two people to fight, and if he's on the ego platform, then it's more likely that he will fight with someone else. But if he's humble, then
Okay.
he makes this.
Yeah, someone who, at least from time to time, shows some humility, then he's not always on the ego, and that also has an effect on the employees or those who work under the leader, right? Yeah, basically it makes him more human. It makes him more approachable, and those who work under him understand. Yeah, he also, if a leader can also admit, oh, that was my mistake, I'm sorry, that actually will be appreciated by the followers. They can see, okay, he's also willing to acknowledge that he maybe has some shortcomings. So that humility in many ways is an important quality. And of course Krishna himself is very humble. Although he's really the one who is behind everything, he always hides and he always pushes the devotees in front, he always glorifies devotees, but he himself is always somewhere in the background. And of course Prabhupada himself also, on the Jaladutta, he writes very humble statements, like, how can I, like these people, how can I deliver them? But if you want, you please empower me, I just become like a puppet, the prayers, right? Then the second prayer, another prayer that Lord Brahma offers is, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is always the benefactor of the surrendered souls. I pray only to engage in His service in creation of the material world, and I pray that I not be materially affected by my works, for thus I may be able to give up the false prestige of being the creator. So he prays, like, the problem is if I create now this universe, after I've created, I could become proud, like, wow, I am the creator, I created everything. But here he prays, please, Krishna, let me not be affected by this false ego. I don't want to, be influenced by false prestige and ego. I'm just a humble servant, and I know that you are actually the creator. I'm just your instrument. So that's also another point that, and we see that in Prabhupada, that Prabhupada is standing in front of the deities offering prayers. Devotees asking, "Oh, Prabhupada, what did you pray for?" And he says, "I've prayed that I might not be influenced by Maya." They were surprised, but Prabhupada, you're a pure devotee. How can you be influenced by Maya? But the point is, because the pure devotee is always taking shelter of Krishna, that's why he's not influenced by Maya. That's the secret of the pure devotee. He's always taking shelter. Whereas we usually, forget about taking shelter. We think, I'm okay, I'm fine. Yeah, but actually there's all reason to always take shelter. Actually, if you really understand our position, we would constantly offer prayers. Krishna, please help me. That's actually our actual position, right? We are so fallen and so we're really depending on Krishna's mercy. So if we really would understand this, then we constantly would offer prayers. And then naturally we also would become empowered. But because we are little, I can speak for myself, because I'm a little dull, I'm thinking I'm fine, not asking for help, not asking for blessings. And then he also offers prayers. I therefore pray that in the course of my material activities I may not be deviated from the vibration of the Vedic hymns. So he also offers prayers with the request to not be deviated from the Vedas, from the proper path. So a prayer for protection, because in the course of action there's so many challenges, so one should always offer prayers. And then next follows Mahavishnu's Supreme Personality of Godhead's reply when he kind of blesses Lord Brahma. I'd just like to read one shloka and then the end, because I promised a short class and I actually have to go. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Brahma, O depth of Vedic wisdom, be neither depressed nor anxious about the execution of creation. What you are begging from me has already been granted before. So you're asking for something, but actually I already have given it to you. And Prabhupada writes a very nice purport. I will read and then we end. Any person authorized by either the Lord or by his bona fide representative is already blessed, as the work entrusted to him. Of course, the person entrusted with such a responsibility should always be aware of his incapacity and must always look for the mercy of the Lord for the successful execution of his duty. That's the point. You may have been given some responsible work, but then you always should understand, I'm actually very incapable to do so. That's why I have to ask. One should not be puffed up because he is entrusted with certain executive work. Fortunate is he who is so entrusted, and if he is always fixed in the sense of being subordinate to the will of the Supreme, he is sure to come out successful in the discharge of his work. Arjuna was entrusted with the work of fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and before he was so entrusted, the Lord had already arranged for his victory. But Arjuna was always conscious of his position as subordinate to the Lord, and thus he accepted him as a supreme guide in his responsibility. Anyone who takes pride in doing responsible work but does not give credit to the Supreme Lord is certainly falsely proud and cannot execute anything nicely. It's a nice point, no? You cannot do anything nicely. You may think, I'm such an expert manager or I'm expert this and that, but if you're not subordinate to the will of the Lord, you cannot do anything nicely actually. Brahma and persons in the line of his disciplic succession who follow in his footsteps are always successful in the discharge of loving transcendental service to the Lord, Supreme Lord. So this is a very nice purport. And I remember when I had a darshan with His Holiness Niranjan Maharaj, I asked about whether I should take higher responsibility. Then Maharaj quoted this shloka and read the purport. So it was a nice answer. Okay, so these are some aspects of Lord Brahma's leadership as the controller of the universe, and whenever there is some challenges, some difficulties, Lord Brahma comes and tries to find a solution. And tomorrow we will hear what's the solution, as I already said. He will make sure that the Prachetas marry the daughters of the trees, and in this way they find some peaceful arrangement. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Krishna Premarupa Dasa ki
Yeah.